One tool that got another feature added to it was the Content Aware Move tool. With the Content Aware Move tool, you can now scale your selections. So I'm going to click on the Content Aware Move tool, found nested under the Spot Healing Brush tool, and I'm going to make a selection of the contents I want to move. After you make your selection, you can click and drag him. So I'm going to place him back here, and I'm going to scale him down. I'm going to hold shift to keep it constrained, and maybe about that size, and find an appropriate place to place him. Maybe right about here. Press enter. I'm going to press Control D to deselect, Command D on the Mac, and now he's further back than he was before. So the ability to scale with the Content Aware Move tool is one of the new additions. I'm going to undo that change, and I'm going to bring him back to his original location. And I want to talk about two other enhancements in Photoshop. The first one is with the Healing Brush tool. If you use the Healing Brush tool, you can see the adjustments happen on the fly. You don't have to wait till you finish painting over the selection that you want to adjust. So you can see how the Healing Brush tool is going to affect your photograph right away. And this is the same thing in Photoshop CS6 Extended. Notice that we only get the preview, but we don't actually get the result until we release the mouse button after painting over the area. I'm going to undo these changes, and what I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you how much quicker the Healing Brush tool is. So I have a Healing Brush tool, and I'm just going to start painting the areas that I want to heal, and I'm going to release. Notice how much faster that was and how much better it was than Photoshop CS6 Extended using the same tool. And I can click once more to get rid of that dot there in the middle. So the Content Aware tool is much faster and better than before. One of my favorite additions to Photoshop CC 2015 is the addition to noise in the blur gallery. To show you how that works, we're going to use this image here that I took in Costa Rica. If we zoom in, we see that there is some noise in the photograph. If I zoom out and apply a blur gallery effect, iris blur, and I can center my blur on the raccoon, I'm just going to bump the blur way up so you can see how this works. If I zoom in and I accidentally move the blur off of him, so I just move it back. But if I zoom in, you'll see that the blurry areas lost the noise. Of course, the image is blur. But in Photoshop CC 2015, we have the noise panel. If you click on that, you can add grain, and you can increase the amount of grain and try to match the digital grain onto the grain that was originally in the image. You can maybe decrease the size. I think this grain looks just a little bit smaller. And you can play around with the amount of grain till you find something that matches. And when you're done, you can simply press OK, and now your blur will be more realistic because it contains some of that film grain that the original image